Folks, AJ, the CEO, thank you so much for stopping by. Hey, we do this every Friday. Hopefully, y'all are enjoying yourselves. And, we're getting ready to go into Christmas Eve tomorrow. And yeah, I'm hearing something knock. It's like, man, the rain is like crazy, or that's the wind. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, folks. AJ, the CEO here. We try and come here every Friday to try and answer your questions. I want to say early Merry Christmas to all of y'all if you celebrate that. And I mean, I normally don't do happy holidays, but I guess it covers everything. So happy holidays, everybody. It is Christmas, not Xmas. But anyway, thank y'all so much for stopping by. We got a bunch of folks on here, and we got a bunch of things going on today. You see, I got other camera right here. And what number is that? That's number 2. So we got a lot of stuff set up here today. We got, I got my pajama pants up, had to pull my one leg up, but we got a lot of stuff going on here today. We got everything prepped today, so I think we should be good. What else we got set up? That's number 6. So we got the studio camera there behind us. And hey, we're going to go all in today. Thank you so much for everybody coming in. I'm making sure I don't miss anything. If I miss any question that you have, folks, know that you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. We've had a lot of stuff coming up, and I understand with the holidays, I'm understanding this more. So we're going to start off with some knowledge right now for y'all. I have a bunch of people that are on here that are entrepreneurs, and I really encourage a lot of y'all. We need a lot more Christian entrepreneurs, but I am noticing for me, and I am going to give shout outs to everybody and stuff like that and get to your questions, but I am realizing, and I told some of y'all that I had a very rough last 3 months, just from business, personal, spiritual, a bunch of stuff like that. A lot of things have changed, but I'm realizing that my friend Kyle, my brother-in-law Glenn, and just in study that your business, which goes into your media ministry as well too, it has seasons. So for me, this winter hit hard. And just like David and Joseph in the parables and the stories inside of the Bible, what I learned in this season is that I need to store up a whole lot more than what I did during the good seasons. So I say that to say that I've been getting calls left and right for at least 15 installs that are coming up in January, and I am so thankful about that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was hurt because stuff was tight and tough. But again, if y'all are running y'all's business and you're having some type of moments of lulls, just know that everything has a season. This was my winter, and it hit hard, but there is always a seed of growth and benefit in every adversity if you notice it. So just giving a big shout out for that. But anyway, enough of me blabbing. Let's go ahead and holler at some folks out here. Mr. Bruce, hey, good morning. We'll circle back to you. Miss Sandra, hello, hello. Merry Christmas to you and your family and everybody. Justin Holloway, hello, hello. Parker, hello. The McCoy Agency, what is going on? Jonathan Rogers, hello, hello. Darius, what is going on? John Cook, hello, hello. Reverend Richard, hello, hello. And we're going to be coming back to his comment as well. Video streams, hello. What is going on? Anthony, what's going on, sir? May Anthony be on the lookout for this Owncast video that I got that I'm running right now. Bruh, this business opportunity, business might be hollering at you as well about that as well, too. Norm, what is going on? Bert, hello, hello. Navy, hoorah. I know that's Marines, but hey, we're a division of the Navy. Lady Deborah, hello. Merry Christmas to you. FBC Gorman, hello, hello. Mr. Clarence, hello, hello. Mike from Canada, what is going on? Mitch Roy, hello, hello. John Cook, if I didn't say it already, hello. Let's see. Is it Norm? If I didn't, Norm, hello. I'll bring that up just to make sure I get everybody a shout out. Anthony Johnson. Hello. David with phone live streaming. Hello. Thank you, sir, so much. um, Gordon. Hello. Hello. Alicia, Pastor Alicia, Dr. Holmes on Facebook. Hello, hello. Hey, folks, just to remind y'all, I am thankful about that. I will be getting an honorary doctorate for ministry education April, I think, next year. Dr. Holmes. All right, sound is fine for me. Hopefully, y'all can. Facebook, sorry about that. I didn't have the audio because the audio is coming through HDMI. My bad. So hopefully y'all should be good now. Let me make sure. So that's good. I haven't streamed on there. I need to set that. Defaultly, I have my ATEM set up to bring in audio that way. Let me make sure. I should be good now. Yeah, there we go, because I can hear it as well too. All right, good. Thank you so much. But again, I'm getting an honorary doctorate, which I am beyond humbled about. That's going to be April of next year. I will let y'all know about all the details of that. Duquesne Kim, hello, hello. I will get back to you. And Covenant Healing, hello, hello. Brian Jones, hello. Steve Hawkins, hello. Amy M, hello. MA16V3, what is up? Yeah, I fixed the audio on Twitch and everywhere else, folks. So my bad. I forgot to turn on the audio since it's bringing in audio over HDMI and not a direct cable coming in. I guess I should save that. Keith, hello. Ralph, hello, hello, hello. Alrighty, folks. So let me jump over here right now and just show you. I'm really excited. I have this video coming out. I have not released it yet because I had to get a new motherboard for my server that was having some problems here. So I think I did this in a video, but I want to make sure I let y'all see it as well too. This is the Oncast server. So if I cut over here so you can actually see it, this is streaming locally right now. So I'm not going to play, I'm going to play it, but try and mute the audio. So it is stuttering a little bit, but I'm going to work on that. But again, this is being ran on a server that's here on the floor right here. And if I look at the hardware, we're at 50% and doing a lot of stuff. Again, this is being streamed internally on Cast server, which is really cool. So the idea of this is that you can host this on your website once I put this out there for everything. But awesome that is in place. But I got videos working now. So before we get started, I do have two new people that have become members on YouTube, so I didn't get a chance to add them on here. But I want to thank all of the Patreon supporters and YouTube members who have supported me throughout the year. Whether you're new, you've been around for a long time, thank you so much for that. Really, really, really appreciate all of the support that y'all have done. Just realize we do have a lot of things that are planned for the year. We're going to be in, I think, Georgia, Maryland, back in Lynchburg, doing some more stuff in North Carolina. And I have about 15 installs that are coming up. So really excited about all of that as well too. And before we really get into it, folks, if y'all don't mind, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't, hit the subscribe. That's the only way you're going to be able to leave comments on these type of videos, as well as have that bell notification on. That way you don't miss out on stuff, because folks, remember, every 10,000 that we're hitting, we're going to be doing a $2,000 live streaming bundle giveaway. This is with a PTZ camera, a joystick, an ATEM Mini Extreme, and a PoE switch. It is easy for you to enter that. What button was it? Was it this one? No, it was that one. There's the link. I'll make sure that the link is in the description, that you enter it. You only have to enter once. We're going to be picking everyone every time we hit a new goal. We're at 53,275 subscribers right now. The first giveaway is going to be at 60,000. And then the picture I forgot, in April 24th through the 28th, we still are available for you to get aboard the Liberty of the Seas missionary cruise leaving out of Fort Lauderdale. We got some very good discounted prices that you can get on that. Make sure you don't miss it. Hey, it ain't going to be no meetings and stuff like that. It's just going to be hanging out, enjoying each other's company, and just relaxing. Going to Coco Cay, and we're going to Bahamas. And what else am I forgetting? Don't forget to join the Facebook group. I am thinking about doing some of our roundtables throughout the week. I know my Sundays have gotten kind of out of whack, so I haven't been able to do that, but I do want to squeeze in maybe 1 or 2 roundtables before the end of the year. So be on the lookout for that. Join the Facebook group so that you don't miss that. I will try and post that as well here. And what's the last thing? Know that y'all can contact me if you want to do any type of consultation, phone, on site, video, whichever one. You can go to ajhomes.com/consultations, and we will do the best to get up in touch with you to help you out. All right. I think that's enough blabbing. So let's go back over here to our first questions here. Let's see. Reverend Richards here. Good morning, all, and happy Christmas to everyone. Question: can you get a new and full detail about the 6 steps to grow your church YouTube guide? I just downloaded it this week for us. All right, we're going to be revisiting that. And again, a bunch of other videos that we've talked about is, first, just like I'm doing, look at how I'm doing some of the stuff on this channel as well too. First off, when it comes to YouTube, YouTube is not necessarily, well, the goal of YouTube is to keep you, and why did my page just jump like that? Anyway, the goal of YouTube is to keep people on the platform as long as possible. So I've done a couple of videos about that, meaning the type of content that you're making. We're talking about your moments. What type of content are you making? Not just long service stuff, but come up with new other content, short form content, long form content, entertainment content, edutainment content. That's what this is, where I'm trying to entertain you but educate you at the same time. Go into the year trying to do something different, not just the service, not just Bible study. Sit down, do a 5-minute, like Chris Garcia. He has like 3,000 people that join his live stream every single day, where it's just him reading the Bible and praying. Y'all could do the same thing. Have a 5-minute. You want to mix it up because you want our content is satisfying people's needs, not just from a spiritual standpoint. Hey, when I used to work, I used to sit there and I would just have stuff playing in the background. You can have somebody doing that. I still want to set a Guinness world record of us reading the Bible from beginning to end, as fast as possible, and with as many people as possible. That was something I wanted to do with a live stream. Do that as a fundraiser. I want to work towards that as well too. So it's about the creativity. Going into 23, do something new in 2023 that you did not do. But we will be working on that. Like I said, there are some videos that we're going to be working on. Like, I've been meaning to do it for the last 3 days. I was telling my girlfriend that I've been wanting to keep coming downstairs to record on this stuff. But then once I get here, honestly, I've just been lazy and I didn't write it out. But the first thing we're going to be doing, because I'm going to be doing this at Signs and Wonders, is going through organization, how to organize. Again, not that I know everything, but this is how I'm going to share with you my mindset of getting your media ministry organized. I'm talking about reining everything in so that the media is responsible for anything of any form of physical or digital mainly any digital content that leaves the ministry, and what it takes to get all that stuff organized. So be on the lookout for that. And I will update that. Long story to answer that. Let's see. Let's go to page 3. And I was asking everybody, does anybody have any service? We have a Signs and Wonders Winter Wonders Land this afternoon at 6:30. Some fellowship, some service, and music and stuff like that. That's what we got going on. But we don't have service on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So going to be hanging out with my girlfriend's family and things like that. My daughter turned 8 yesterday. So Daddy loves you, baby girl. Really proud of you and everything like that. What else? I'm trying to jump to the next question that I see here. So Jonathan, like I said, that is what I'm working on. So be on the lookout for that. That's page 2. Let's see. John, how did your plumbing situation turn out? Hopefully everything came out okay. Honestly, it was horrible. I ended up hiring one of my past clients was a plumber. They actually cleared it out. So what's happening is that for whatever reason, the force is backfilling in here. So I have to make it a priority just to go through and flush every single toilet. So I think the person who was here before me, like I don't really use this bathroom down here that's in the office because most of the time I'm upstairs. It's 4 bathrooms here in this house. One is for my daughter, one is my main bathroom, one is the guest upstairs, and then I got another one down here. And most of the time I don't really do anything. So I think what happened is one of the toilets was clogged up, and then when I had people over and we used all of them, a backup happened. I ended up hiring a plumber that cleared it out because the property management, which is trash here, I am going to say that, they're trash because they didn't respond for 2 months. I got it cleared out, and then they sent somebody else 2 months after I'd already taken care of it. Then they billed me for something that I already did. So anyway, so the plan is to hurry up and get up out of here. I'm not going to stay here. If I can, working towards actually getting, because again, I was in the Marines. I do have a home loan through the VA, working at getting some stuff, get my finances straight. So we're going to be buying a house so I can get up out of here because I'm not staying here longer than a year. But that was what happened. It was horrible. David giving us a little, again, he's the creator of Phone Live Streaming. I love the second chance call, but when you forget it's enabled, you think something's wrong. It calls 5 minutes after you go live if you're not on the line but subscribed. Hey, thank you. I did not realize that, but thank you for that. Let's see. Again, Pastor Alicia, sound is coming through Facebook and Twitch, so we should be good now. We got a bunch of people that are hosting some services, which is awesome. Duyang Kim asking, which PTZ camera, quantity one, and controller do you recommend for a budget under 1,500? You got a bunch of options. So AVideo1, the one I just did that I'm actually using right now, which is this camera right here. I have that as well as the joystick here. If I pan down so you can see it, and you can't, but let me see if I can put this joystick right here that I'm working. This is the AVideo1 as well. That joystick and everything combined is going to get you right at that price range. You have that as an option. You also have the AVCans one, which is that camera. That one is coming in at around 540, and then you throw another joystick similar to one. AVCans is actually sending me a joystick as well too to test out. That combined is going to get you around that same price range, maybe at around like 12. Then you also have the Famaco that you can add. You have a SMT AV, which is my top-down one that you're seeing right there. That one is coming in. Now, that's only a 12X. That's going to get you around $450, and then you add another IP controller. All of those are about the same. You're going to add around like $300 to $400 to that. And if you didn't see, that's a video I just finished recording. That is a Phoenix Pro personal in-ear monitoring system that I just finished doing a video for. I have to edit that when that's done. That's coming out soon. But that's what I would suggest. It's a bunch of options that to get to that, you're going to, at the high end, you can go to 15, but you can get it to around like 12 and maybe even sub 1,000. Again, we've had a bunch of options on there. Look at through some of my past videos, and that's what I would suggest on a couple of them. So hopefully that helps you. John is saying, watching Snowmageddon, still waiting for it to develop. Covenant Healing. Good morning, all. Are capture cards worth the money? It all depends. To be quite honest, now that the Black Magic, because realize the ATEM, The ATEM is a big capture device as well as it is a switcher. It's going to take, for me, it's taking in all the cameras that y'all are seeing and sending them over to my vMix, OBS, whatever, as a humongous capture card. So do you need a individual capture card? Like I thought I brought one in. One of the small ones. Hold on. All right, so something like this capture card, is it worth it? I like to have something like this as a backup just in case. But again, this is like $12. But the bigger capture cards, like I still have the Intensity Pro 4K, which is inside of my streaming system. I've been using that for 7 years. But at this point, the ATEM or any of these type of switchers, the YOLO box, the YOLO Live, any of those, they are capture devices and they will send everything over USB. So I would say it's still worth it depending on what you're doing. Like one of the installs I'm getting ready to do in Maryland, they're using the ATEM Constellation, which does not have any streaming capabilities built in. So we're going to need to either build a system that actually has a capture card that's going to capture the SDI out and send it that way. So they're worth it when you know the setup. If you have an ATEM Mini Pro that or ATEM, any of those, that is your capture card. So I think for me, I really don't recommend a capture card unless it's for a specific purpose like the ministry I was talking about, because their video switcher does not support it. So I need to pull SDI out and it goes. That's what I'm going to be using. So hopefully that makes sense. Bert here. Moving from Switcher Studio iPhones to something, OBS or ATEM, we only broadcast to YouTube and want the best and easiest way to be able to train others, so I'm not doing this myself. Any help? The ATEM, it is very simple. If you want it to do like that, you can set up the ATEM and you're only going to YouTube. You can set it up with your streaming key. Like I have a streaming key right now for every Q&A that I do that does not change. I save that inside of the ATEM, set up remember startup state, and every time you turn it on, all they have to do is hit on air, and that's it. So I would go with the ATEM. Personally, I would recommend going with an ATEM Mini Extreme. So it just sets you up in the future so you can have video out and you have a multi-view, kind of like how I have it right now that you see with my ATEM right now. I'm using the multi-view that you're seeing right here. And I have outputs that's going to all of my other cameras that you're seeing over here. So I don't know. So I know it's really tight, but see, like right now, that's the web presenter that's going out and it has a feed that's coming from the HDMI out here. And I got a phone call. I got to respond back to that. But got some friends calling for the holidays. Hold on. Interesting. I have to follow back up that. But yeah, that's what I would do in that. And that's what I've typically done in a lot of installs so that it makes it pretty easy and straightforward. So hopefully that helps. Let me respond to this real quick. Doing a live stream. Call you when I'm done. Alrighty, so what's the next one we got here? Francisco, what is going on? And let's see what page we're on. All right. David says Nginx RTMP module works well for self-hosting too, but requires a bit more config. I've used that a lot with OwnCast. Yeah, I've done that as well too. But I know when I documented it, David, it was interesting. I wanted something that would be kind of straightforward But again, hey, for the nerdy part of it, yeah, it's great. I've actually used that with the Raspberry Pi and everything, and it's been great. See, Pastor Alicia, she cutting up, talking about she can't. She's her and her husband are going on the cruise. They said can't wait to go. Well, they're saying can't wait to go, and we're gonna meet up and catch a picture. Yeah, I want to do that. So honestly, shameless plug. Hey, if y'all go to the website, and I'm actually working on this as well too, because I don't know what is going on with the merch shop that's on my page. I've been having some issues with that. So if you are going on the cruise, you don't have to do this, but I think this would be cool. If you come over here to the website, AJaytheCEO.com, and go to clothing, I would love if y'all were able to get at least the e-missionary shirt, and I might actually make another one that's just specifically for the cruise. And that way all of us have a shirt so we'll know what's going on. This is an e-missionary group. That's what it's going. That's what Royal Caribbean knows it as. But I'd love to have something like that. And then actually, let me cut back over here. We have more designs coming in different sizes as well too. So I think the other site that I used to, they were limited on size. We can go up all the way up to 5X, because I know some people ask me about a 5X. So yeah, we can support that now. And we have different colors as well too. I don't know what's going on with the merch shop. I am working with another provider. So be on the lookout for that, but that would be cool. So we will do something like that. Mom's video, what is going on? Mike, it would be good to find a consistent time for the roundtable, if not on Sunday, so people can know when they. Yeah, that's the plan, Mike. I've just had a lot of stuff going on. My Sundays have gotten kind of different events that are going on. Then I have meetings on Tuesdays. Typically, my business, I'm shut down on Monday and Fridays for events like this, as well as Sundays and Mondays I have closed from business, but I have other things going on. So I'm working on that. So we're going to have something that's maybe during a different day during the week, to compensate for anybody who's having services on Saturday as well as Sundays. And you never know. I would love to get to the point where I do multiple ones, but again, sharing with y'all, my goal for the year is to bring on 4 more full-time people, but I need to make sure that we get the finances straight so we can handle that, so that I can take a lot of load off of this as well as multiply myself, so I can actually do more, because I can only install but one place. But if I can train some other people that work at a higher standard and the quality of what they install, then we can actually help and do more. So maybe we can hit that 100 installs next year that we didn't hit this year. We did hit 40, so we were close. Phone Night Amahar. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Richard, possible to stream live Twitter Space to YouTube and Facebook using OBS and Caster? Yes, you can use that with Caster, but I don't know if y'all is going to Reverend Richard or not. Classy Chick TV. Interesting name. How do you improve the audio quality for the live stream? We are using a Behringer 32 compact. Well, it depends. I actually have an X32 right here. And first off, are you using a separate mix? What type of audio are you sending? Is it the exact same thing that's in the house that's going to your live stream? Do you have a separate mix? What is it connecting to? Is it going to an ATEM? Is it going to a computer? Give me some more details and we can work through trying to isolate how we can improve that for you there. Classic Chick TV. NSW says, hey, everyone, finally caught you live. Hey, thanks for joining. Rhonda, good morning, Cole. Lexington, Kentucky National Youth Conference here this weekend. Sweet, sweet. Deanne Kim, you are welcome. I will have a link down below to everything. I'll add this later. And this is something that I know I've dropped the ball on, but I would recommend y'all do as well as I'm going to do it. When this is over, and actually, can I show y'all this? Let me see if I can show y'all, because this is something that I need to be more of a habit of doing. So this is the result of what I'm watching. Inside of your live stream, when you're doing this in YouTube, you can make stream markers that will put a bracket so that you'll know where things are. So this will help with your timestamps. This is something that I need to do more often so that normally when a live stream is over, I come back to my live stream and start checking off and putting a timestamp for each question to make it easier for people to jump to. I would recommend you really do that, especially for your services. Because again, you want to cater to people. You don't want to hold them hostage to make them watch your entire live stream. If you're giving them an option to quickly jump to a certain aspect of it, I think that's good. And then honestly, make different content, make a chapter, do the entire service, make chapters so people can jump to it. Then take that same stuff. I used to do this at Antioch as well too. I'm probably going to start doing it some more with Signs and Wonders going into the year. Do the entire live stream, make chapters so people can jump to it, then split up the service and have just the sermon by itself, then do the audio by itself. We're going to be going through making a podcast again as well too, because Wooshka has gone the way of the dodo. We're going to go through Anchor because I need to do this for myself as well too. As long as the music is appropriate, you can set that aside and have the choir do something as well too. But again, it's been a nightmare with all this music. I'll do a shameless plug. Go ahead and sign up for Vimeo. Vimeo is free up to 500 megabytes or 1 terabyte. I can't remember which one. If you want to do your music for the choir, they won't hit you for nothing crazy. As long as you're not doing nothing stupid, you could render and make just the choir music as a playlist on Vimeo and then link that to your website. And then you can bypass any type of copyright stuff. But again, don't be stupid when y'all are doing that. Y'all know y'all can't stream stuff that you don't own. And I keep seeing people do this, and I'm trying to be PC, but it's the dumbest thing that people don't listen. Don't put on your post, I don't own the rights to this music. That is a sign of guilt. That doesn't remove anything. I've told that to people, and they just want to be just 2 steps away from stupid, and they keep doing the same thing. And I'm saying that because these are people I know, and they're just know-it-alls, and they just know everything. But don't do that. Don't say, I don't own the rights to this music. That's a obvious sign of guilt that you know that you're using something that you don't own. Don't do that. But anyway, and I forgot where I went with that. I went off on a tangent. Aaron, I got to program some lighting scenes for Christmas production at my church. Christmas Day. We got a lot of moving lights. Sweet. MA16V3 is saying it is -6 here in Kentucky. We're shut down. Good Lord. No, thank you. Nicholas, AJ, you're awesome. Thanks for all you do for us. Merry Christmas. Hey, thank you, Nicholas, and Merry Christmas to you as well, too. Patrick, I have 3 to 4 of those capture cards mainly as backups. Exactly. I mean, honestly, the fact that you can get these for like $7 to $15, it is good to have. I got like 4 of these, and I have them as backup. I normally keep one in the car and other stuff like that as well, too. It's good to have. LBJ Films wants to know, are you ready to come to Alabama? Man, I am been ready. I'm actually supposed to be catching up with Pastor Bell sometime next year to come down there. So yeah, working towards all of that stuff. Hey, folks, I had somebody in Savannah, Georgia said, hey, AJ, I know we're outside of your scope. No, you're not. I've gone to California. I've gone to Ireland. Hey, have ministry will travel. All right. So if y'all want help, again, now, I don't do this for free. This is a business. So if you want me to come down there, I promise you I can save you the money of what you're going to pay. And you could pay for my plane ticket. I promise it'll probably be cheaper than everything else. But yeah, we do travel. Bert, looking at the yellow box, do you use a SIM card? What service do you use? Personally, hold on. And I just spilled water all over my face. Hold on. All right, so we got the yellow box here. Personally, I have not used the SIM card. I could take the SIM card out of my phone and test this out, which I have not done. My Verizon one is pretty good. I use it as a tether, and it has worked great for me. But I would like to play around with this. Maybe I'll take the SIM card out of my phone and play with it at some time. But at least in my area, Verizon is great compared to all the other services that I have used. Woo. First Baptist Presbyterian Church, I'm assuming that's what it is. Sorry if I mess it up. Merry Christmas. I'm having some issues with our volume on our live stream. We're using a to Behringer audio device. Um, give me normally it won't let you do this, but go ahead and post a link to that, and I'm gonna bring it up so I can see and at least get a sample of it so everybody can hear. So please post that. I will authorize it here in the chat, and we'll go through. Don't nobody else don't go crazy because it won't let you unless I authorize it. So go ahead and do that so I can get an example of it. Justin, I'm having problems with my audio during live streams. My team is using the TSR cable that run from my mixer to the computer, but audio is not that good. Also, my wireless mics. What should we do? So I'm assuming that you're streaming from OBS. If that's the case, please let me know, and we'll see where we can go from there. So a lot of y'all, when y'all are asking me that questions, please let me know what equipment that you're using so that we can try and diagnose as best as we possibly can. Covenant Healing, my single Canon M50 want to bulletproof as much as possible against sync issues. Does the ATEM help against sync challenges? Yes, because the ATEM is going to sync the video and audio itself. And then that way the computer isn't handling that. The computer is just going to get a stream from your USB, which is video and audio, and it's already in sync. Philip Paul, Merry Christmas to you as well. Steve Hawkins, does any of the ATEMs send all video cameras to the computer at the same time? We use multiple camera shots at the same time during our live stream with vMix. No, it does not. The only way that you would do something like that is like, let me take that back. So right now, my ATEM it has two USBs out. One of them is coming to the computer that I'm sitting in front of right now. The other one is going to my computer to stream. So technically, well, let me take that back. You want to have an independent feed from each one. No, the ATEM does not do that in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you had, it's going to add a lot of workload to it. If you had an ATEM SDI Extreme or the ATEM, I say the SDI Extreme because it has 4 SDI outs that you can program, and that would give you 4 feeds, but then you would need 4 capture cards inside of your computer and vMix to see it. That's the only part that stinks that comes with that. So sending it to vMix, you would actually need a separate capture card if you wanted to do something like that. And honestly, at that point, if you're trying to do something like that, I would put more horsepower, processor, graphics card, memory into your vMix system and get like a Decklink Duo that's like a 4 SDI in or 4 HDMI in capture card that would allow you to do something like that. Michael Baldwin, happy holidays to you and your family. We know that Jesus is the reason for the season, and thank you for giving us a reason to do what we do. Be blessed and have a great new year. Thank you so much. And back to Steve, you're saying that we currently have a 4-port capture card. Yeah, I would. How many cameras are you using? Are you using the ATEM Mini Extreme? If you have a 4-port capture card, I would go directly into vMix and bypass the ATEM, because that's a special case need. If you want to do that, that's what I would do. Mike, people in different time zones on Facebook group could hold roundtables that would be convenient for them too. I'd agree. Again, I want to make sure that now I'm saying this and y'all know me. So if y'all are part of the Facebook group, if this offends, that means that you don't know me. I am very hesitant about handing off, just like for my business, I am very hesitant about bringing anybody on in a level of responsibility if they are not in sync with my vision and my mindset of what I want. So again, when it comes to that, like the same way when we did the E-Missionary Conference, which we're going to have a round 2 in 2023, I promise you that, as well as the second book is going to come out as well too. I am very mindful of the power that association can do for good or bad, meaning that if somebody's heart is right, I don't mind them hosting a roundtable. This is not me trying to control it. I want to make sure that, just like I'm saying from a standpoint, dealing with companies who have been ripping churches off, I've dealt with so many other churches that puts a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, again, y'all all know this church hurt is real. And one stupid thing that we do can put somebody on a path that can't stand Christianity in church. I want to avoid that. So like that's why I run the Facebook group with an iron fist. You come in here asking for, like I had somebody this year, asking for free copies of code to steal software. No, we don't do that here. We don't do nonsense like that. I want this. My first name is Arthur, King Arthur, so hopefully you'll understand the reference. I want this to be Camelot. I want this to be ideal. I want this to be as best as possible. There's already enough hell going out there that I don't want that inside of any group, anything that's here. So if you do some tomfoolery or some nonsense, you are gone. Because I understand how precious and how delicate what we're doing is. And the last thing I want to do is me be a stumbling block for anybody or put anybody in a position of leadership who doesn't have the same heart that could cause chaos inside the group. So I say all that to say I'm in agreement, Mike, and I'm working towards doing some stuff like that as well. Anthony, an audio interface may help with audio in the live stream. That's what I have been using for my audio, and it's great. Yeah, and then Anthony, in your system as well, pairing with that, as long as the CPU is fast enough to handle syncing everything together. Because again, a lot of people I've dealt with in churches, they're using equipment that's really not fast enough. And it's really out of sync from day one when you start a live stream, but it's so small you don't notice it. That's why you don't see it until 5 minutes later. It's been out of sync. It's just by 5 minutes. Now it's noticeable. So yeah, be mindful of that. J.A. Stevenson, my live stream mix is terrible on my X32. You mind doing a video on that someday, how to set it up? Sure, I have something like that, but let me know in detail and we'll work through that as well too. I don't even want to pronounce your first name because I know I'm gonna mess it up. Jonathan here from Facebook. My church sound is from an analog mixer, aux output into a Focusrite Solo. How do I improve the sound quality to our Facebook live stream? Now, a lot of this is subjective. I need to have a sample of this so I can actually hear. So again, if you're doing that mix, I need to know a breakdown of, is it cutting out? Is it distorted? I need some samples so I can see. So just like with you, Facebook doesn't have this restriction. If you can put a link in the comments to an example, and we'll go over and see some of that as well. Dcraft TV. Hey, AJ, Merry Christmas from Stevenges, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, UK. Which would you recommend? Audio output from X32 directly to an ATEM Mini Extreme, or audio to X32 to any audio interface and the ATEM? Honestly, I would go from the X32 directly to the ATEM. There's no point in, I don't think there's a point in adding an extra piece of hardware unless you're doing some type of processing or something like that before it goes to the ATEM. That's how I normally have my setup. I have an aux out, or I use one of the XLR outs, run left and right channel into a 3.5 millimeter cable that plugs into the ATEM. And sometimes, like at Signs and Wonders, I have an exact mimic of what's going on into the house that's going to the live stream. Once I get some other people trained, I'm going to have a separate live stream mix that is being adjusted live so that it's catered to the live streaming audience. And I just do everything, not through the board, but through the software, so that anybody using the board is adjusting for the house. I'm using the software to customize for that mix. That's me personally. And the reason I do that is because I just don't like having an extra piece of hardware, so that for me, audio adjustments are done on the mixer, not mixer. Then we have an interface. We got to make sure the levels are right here, make sure the cables are right, make sure that's done. Then we go to the ATEM, and then we got to make sure the adjust. I don't like doing that. I like having one cable, and then I set the ATEM one place. I don't even touch that anymore, and everything is done in the mixer. That's my approach. Jay Stevenson again. The back of our sanctuary where we would like to set up our PTZ is about 90 feet to the stage. What type of zoom should I get in order to get close-ups? 30x. A 30x would be good for that. Back to Classic Chick TV, the exact same thing. I'm going from the X32 straight to the computer. I would like more quality audio to the stream, which is StreamYard. Okay. So And I don't have this connected right now, but let me see as best as I can. And I'm just going to show you from a top level how I would have this set up. Um, let's cut over here. So we're connecting to my X32 that's on the floor. I'm not using this right now in my setup because I'm using my Rodecaster, but I guess I should set this up in the future. So for me, I have a mix here for my live stream. And in my live stream, that is mix bus number 1. In my routing, I come to my outputs and I pick whichever one. So outputs number 5 and 6, which are the RCA outs or the 1/4 inch outs, are what I'm using for my, outputs, XLR outs 5 and 6 are routed to that mix bus. That's what I have. But then also you could set 5 and 6 for the 1/4 inch outs or the RCA outs to use that same mix as well too. That's going to send here. So that's the first thing I do. Real simple. You can do the same thing with USB if you wanted to, but I have that. Now that I have my mix in here, this software is what I would be using to listen and customizing the mix specifically for the live stream. So before you do this, if you're using, this is with a computer as well too. If you're running an out from your X32 into your computer, first, make sure you're plugging into the line in. Then also make sure you have your level set right. It's just like you would with the ATEM. If you have your ATEM set up, and if I come in here to my audio, and I'm using input number 1 for my mixer, I have this set as line because it drops the levels. Make sure you're not coming into the microphone jack on your computer because it's too hot. It's going to distort your sound. Plug it into the line in. Typically on the back of the computer, if it's color coded, it is the blue input for that. That's the first thing. If you're using a USB interface, so let me bring mine up. So this is my Rodecaster. So if we come in here to setups, let me go back. You can set different settings. I guess I'm using mine default. Outputs. So you can set certain levels of how you're adjusting this so that it's coming out. This is my USB out. And there are different settings. I can add an output delay and all this other stuff. The idea is for me, I want to have the audio going into the computer. If you're going directly or into an ATEM, do it for line. Don't use mic. Do not use the mic input. That is going to distort your sound. And then set your levels appropriately based off of that. I personally have my level set at 50%. And just leave it at 50% on the computer. And then I make all the adjustments from the mixer itself. So like here, so like I would keep my live stream at 0. I wouldn't even move this any higher. And then I adjust everything from this standpoint of, oh, wait a minute, these mics are at this level. Let me bring them down. Let me bring this here. I do all of my mixing from the mixer. I'm not going to do anything else. But we'll go more in a deep dive about that because obviously I've had a bunch of y'all ask, so we'll work on that as well in the future. Aaron, please post that in the Facebook group and I would check it out. Bert, I would say the extreme. That's what I would use. And I see a bunch of folks. Brandon, the man I was thinking about. Brandon, before I say that, let me show you something, dude. Brandon is also an affiliate with a distributor of Phoenix Pro. So look at that. Look at that, Brandon. I know what you know what that is. We just finished doing a review on that. So I'm going to be dropping that hopefully later today. But your question, can an A10 Mini Pro use the USB port to record and send video to the PC and record the PC? No, it cannot do both at the same time. It's going to be one or the other. Wait a minute, let me read it again. Can the A10 Mini Pro use the USB port to record? And no, it can't. It's going to be one direction. Either it's going to be sending video to a data stream to a computer over USB, or it's going to be sending a data stream to a drive. It can't do both. Now, the ATEM Extreme gets around that because it has 2 USB outs. That's how I use it. I normally have one drive hooked up for recording, and then the other one is going to my computer for data. And I am skipping over a few comments here. Mike, for sure, the hosts need to be aligned with the vision of the group. Yeah, that ties into what I was saying. But you need Aaron to come alongside you. Hey, that's what I said. I'm looking to multiply myself because the vision that I have for what I'm doing in this business, my other business, and everything, I need more than me to be able to accomplish it. What Martin Luther King and some other people say, I'm paraphrasing it. If you're not aligned with a vision that's bigger than you, that there's no way that you can do it. First off, how I would say that, I don't think that's you have your natural, and then you have something that's so big that you can't do it. Now you have to call upon the supernatural. God has to get involved. Other people have to get involved. That's what I am. Like, again, I've told y'all, my vision of this is and maybe this ain't appropriate. I really don't care. My vision is to have so much influence on YouTube, and I'm just going to call it right now. I'll tell y'all what my prayers and affirmations are that I speak, is that I'm the #1 Christian tech YouTuber in the world. That's the reason why. Not if I can get all this glamour and cash, it's so I can have influence. One of my biggest dreams is to hear about a ministry that kind of got devastated, whether it got burnt down by vandalism or whatever, and have enough influence that I can call up companies to get equipment from them and have a volunteer army of y'all. We go down there and we rebuild the entire church in a week or whatever a time that's applicable. That's the vision. I want to be able to be a financier of the kingdom, meaning that, hey, I hated going to church meetings and we spend more time talking about chicken sales, car washes, and everything. And I'm just like, how much does it cost? And we just get it done so we can get ministry done. That's me. Maybe I'm being too transparent, but that's honestly where I am. I'm doing this because I want to not just talk about expanding the gospel, but I want to actually be able to teach, and who God has allowed me in wisdom to support to be able to do. So that doesn't mean that y'all can just start emailing me like crazy saying, oh, give me no, I don't do that. Anytime somebody comes, I go in prayer. And if I don't feel confident that God's directing me, I don't do it. But anyway, that's my vision of what I want to do with that. And I can't do that by myself. So I'm about trying to set something way bigger than me. And hopefully it perpetuates beyond me as well, too. Because what it says, greater work shall we do than him. I used to always say, where are the greater works? That's just me. Pat, is there a way to provide a feed out to a classroom via HDMI with audio? Yes. That's what I'm doing right now. Like if I turned my TV up right now, it would do the same thing. So like if I cut over to this, my PTZ, and I'm going to change this to, I'm going to change my multi-view to an HDMI out. So that would be program right here. Now, I'm going to be careful with this because I don't want to have some feedback. So right now, I have this TV muted. Testing. So you can hear I'm sending audio out and it's coming out through the TV. So that would work, but I just need to know what equipment are you using? And that is doable in multiple ways. You can do that with the ATEM like I'm using, and that's the wrong out. I think I sent y'all the wrong out. You can do that through the ATEM. You can do that through OBS. It's a bunch of ways that you could do that. I need to know what's your setup to try and talk you through that, but that is possible. Jerry, what capture devices are best for bringing in video that are a fair price point? There are a bunch. Do you want internal or external, Jerry? Let me know, and we'll answer that back for you. LBJ Films, can you post the video in the comment channel of how to adjust the Behringer X32 and ATEM switcher? Which one? I'm sorry, I did a bunch, so I just need to know which exact one so I can do that, and I will. Or I'll just make a new one as well. Joey, Merry Christmas, AJ and all. Hey, Merry Christmas to you as well too. Reggie Porter, can you use lower thirds with OBS on MacBook? Yes, you can. Are you talking about the animated lower thirds? That plugin I don't believe works with the Mac, but you can send lower thirds to OBS on a MacBook. You can do it through NDI in a bunch of ways. Back to Pat. Using OBS, I can provide a video to a classroom TV, but not audio. Of course, while I stream to Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. You need to send audio in your ATEM. I mean, not ATEM, in your OBS. So let me show you. Let me minimize all this stuff. So if you're doing that, be mindful when you do this, that when you have this connected and your computer has to support it. So mine does, but I have it turned off right now. So I could send audio over my HDMI cable. You want that to be your main out. That's the first thing. Now inside of OBS, let me open that up. Now I don't know what screen that's on. All right. So inside of OBS, what you would need to do when you do that, set the HDMI out to that's where it's sending audio. Then out of each source, you need to come in here and go to advanced, and you want to turn monitor and output. That's what you will want to do to send audio out. Another way you can do that, if you don't want to adjust this here, go into settings, go to audio, set your monitoring device to be your HDMI, and then whatever's coming from OBS will send audio as well too. That's how you can do either one. You got two paths. Set it directly in OBS so you don't have to change none of your system settings, or set it here. But just realize when you do this, if you do it in the computer itself, it's going to send all audio from the computer over HDMI. If you do it inside of OBS, it's only going to send the audio that's being sent from OBS to those places. All right. Hopefully that helps. AJ, it's been a while since I joined the session. So good to see your face again. Hey, well, thank you for joining. Sean White, hey, God's morning. Yes, it is. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. LBJ Films. That influence is what I want to use for the kingdom of God also. Let's go. The influence can change ministries. That is why I do what I do. By the way, this is Pastor Bell from Alabama. Oh, well, I'm glad that's you. You were the one exactly I'm talking about. I'm ready to come down there whenever you're ready, man. Patrick. One hack to record and use the ATEM Mini Pro and send video to the PC is to use the HDMI out into a capture card. Yeah, that's the other way you could do that, but doing it over one cable is not possible unless you add some other device, like you said, Pat. All right. Pat says that they use OBS. Okay, we're going to circle back to that. Anthony, the internet provider my church uses allows one set package for one business. We have it split so that the media is on its own, but the security system pull from it do live stream causing media issues. Now, Anthony, what is your setup? Because I have the same thing at my church. I use the Unify stuff because it gives me a whole lot more control over some stuff. And y'all haven't seen the video because I've been running some other stuff and sending internet to our transition home. I'm almost done. I actually have one more piece that I need to do, and I need to drill into the wall at the transition home to get everything done. And it's been raining the last 3 days, so that's why I haven't done it. But let me show you as best as possible, and maybe this makes sense, hopefully. Now, you can do this with your network stuff. I like the Unify stuff because it just makes it easier for me to do it. All right, so let's do this. Now, inside of my router, the USG UDM Pro, which is a big router, I'm able to make multiple networks. So I have default. That is what all the computers, the media, and everything is for. Guests are set up for a guest Wi-Fi that everybody else in the church can get into. That is a Wi-Fi network that's only on during certain periods of time. They can't touch anything. So my pastor, everybody that has computers are on the main, and they're segregated. So this is able to use 80% of the internet. Everybody else is set at 10. So it's never going to be able to do anything. Thank y'all so much for the super chat. Streets of Destiny, Otis, thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So what I have at the transition home is 2 units, the Viola House 1 and 2, upstairs and downstairs. So I've made a network that segregates and splits this off so that it can never max out anything. So if I come in here and I go to groups, I do a network group. So we can set this up to say how much anything is and how much it can be limited. So the way I have mine set up is in your scenario, like I said, I have the media is able to use up 80% of everything. And then the last 20% is set to everything else. So no one else can touch anything. So let me see. Let me go to the legacy so you can actually see it better. All right, let's go here to network. And I like this because it shows a little bit better. So I see like right now, my default, and I think by me switching to legacy, it dropped it. So right now, default is unlimited. So I would come in here and set this as yes. And I can limit how much of my upload speed and download speed they can ever use. So they'll never reach the limit. So I have 500 down and up here. So I would change this to megabytes to make it easier and say for my guest here, I'm going to limit them to 10%. So they can only use 50 up and 50 down. So that still leaves 450 for my main. So they're on, even if they max this out, they will never be able to compromise the rest of my stuff in the network. And you can make different segments of that. And then inside of this, I would come to my network and I would come in here to guests and I would assign it to a given group. And where did they move it to? And so like I would come in here to my Wi-Fi here and I could assign it to guests. So when people are on the guest Wi-Fi, they are never going to be able to go higher than that. And you can do the same thing for different ones as well, too. That's why I like to unify stuff. That's how I have mine set up. So, again, I nerded out a little bit. I know that's not for everybody, but that's the reason why I like to unify, because I can set a whole lot of stuff and makes it a lot easier. I can lock down and make this network family friendly so people can't search anything. And Unify sends a command to browsers like Chrome and everything that actually stop from searching certain things as well too, which is really cool. Let me show you that real quick. So if I come back over here, if I go to networks, I can come here to guess and what type of network is it? I think that's probably the newer one. User interface. Let's go to the newer one. Switch back real quick so it's not well, no, it should be fine. This is the church's one. All right, so sometimes it takes me back to the home page. So I want to come here to my network here and I'll go to guess. And we can come in here to manual and say what type of network. I want this to be family. So in other words, it will filter from the router so that people can't go to anything crazy on that network. So I'll actually put that in place. And it just, I just like doing stuff like that. It makes it easier. It stops people from going out to do anything crazy. And we can put firewalls that block certain traffic and things like that. But a lot of cool stuff. Anthony, what can I do to prevent things like this from happening every time? Yeah, I think, Anthony, that ties into it. Like for me, let me go back over here one more time. So for me, I have, and I'll just make it because like right now we also have security cameras and we have door access here. So make sure I'm not seeing no tomfoolery over here. So like right now, looking at the church right now, I can have this as a separate network if I wanted to. And this would make the security system completely different if I wanted to. So right now they're on this main network, but I could make something that's completely different, just like I was showing you that I've done for the Viola house. So this is a different network. So when people get on this network, when anybody's in the house, we won't be able to do, I will be able to, as an admin, be able to see what's going on. But the average person, they won't be able to see, and they're completely separated. So I could come in here and say, this is security cameras. I could do something like that, make it a completely different network, let it auto scale, and then do okay. And then I could have these devices. So I can come in here to the cameras in each one and have it go to a separate network. So it's completely separate. So they won't step on top of each other. So that's closet switch number 9. So I can come in here, go to number 9 and manage this port, go to number 9 and say, hey, for this port, the network I want you to actually be on is actually security cameras. So they would be something completely separate, so they won't be stepping on top of each other. That's why I like to unify. You don't need the big one. You can get smaller ones that can do the same thing. And when you start going down that path, it's a lot of stuff, but it gives you a lot of control. So here, you can go to any of these. This is the Dream Machine Pro that I'm using. This is actually one that I installed at my mom. No, this is the one I installed at my mom's. It gives me the same control, but it's not as intensive, but it still gives me the same type of control. When you start getting into the stuff, these are the things. Now, that same configuration is how people have asked me if I did NDI cameras, how would I do it? I would do the same thing. I would have a completely separate network that only NDI cameras are on, so they don't step on each other and it doesn't block any issues. But again, we went down a rabbit hole on that one. Back to First Bath Presbyterian Church. The feed comes out of the aux port to the Behringer and then to the computer. All right, so just like in the computer, I'm assuming that the UM2, let me look that up. And I'm getting ready to sneeze. My apologies. That is a, excuse me, that is a USB interface. So if we look at that right now, in that same type of interface, we want to play around with the settings. Because if you're bringing your audio out over USB, I might need to play around with this because I think Streets of Destiny, I think y'all use this as well too, right? I'm going to have to play around with that because that's a mic line in. Now, you're saying you're coming from an aux port. What do you have routed to your aux? Is it a separate mix or is it the same left and rights? I would personally probably put it, even if it's the same thing, I would put it on another mix so that you have a different fader just to send it. And again, please post a link so I can actually hear and get an example of what that is as well too. MA16V3, good rule for line versus mic settings. Line is if it comes from a source that has its own power. Mic is if it comes from a source that doesn't. Thank you for that. Dionys, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hey, AJ, how are you? Can you provide a video on setting up sound for live streaming on OBS? Man, I'm going to have to do that because we done had about like 20 of them, so we will work on a video for that, folks. Setting the levels of mics and instruments. Yes, I will work on something like that. Back to Jerry was asking for external. For external capture device, I would still go with the Elgato. They have a newer one that I think is working, and their website says they have deals. So what I would use, and these are the ones that I've used before, is the HD60X. Now, the issue that I have with this is $199. That's how much that is, right? But if I go to here, B&H Photo, and look up the ATEM Mini Pro, that's $100 more. And This only gives you one input. And that's that Horizon Zero Dawn, great game. So this only gives you one input for the external, but for $100 more, you have four. So that's just me. Now, if you could find the leftover A10 Mini, which they've discontinued, you can get this, and that will give you four inputs, and that's $4 less. So if you can find a Mini, get one. Noted there's no multi-view on this. I would personally, for external, go with an A10 Mini Pro at minimum. But the Elgato does work great. Just realize there's only one input that you have with it. And I will post a link to that HD60X. And it's in the, actually Amazon has it for 180. I have this in my description. So just let y'all know, every link that I do use is an Amazon affiliate link. So y'all don't have to pay nothing. They give me a little kickback for advertising for them. But there you go. There's a link there for that. Otis, thank you again for the super chat. Howdy from Texas, Cast Division, meet the goal. Hey, that's the thing, man. I've had to do a lot of. Normally, this is the most work I've done during December because typically I shut down to celebrate my daughter's birthday, and then just reassess everything. And all right, we're getting ready to get into the scripture and stuff like that. So for me, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, all that other good stuff. I'm not perfect, but we're constantly working on some stuff. For me, there's been so much stuff that's happened in the last few months that honestly, it made me question why I'm doing this. And that's why I did one of the videos about why I do it, because that was mainly for me to remind myself why I do what I'm doing. But there's a scripture that says he'll never put more on you than you can bear. So for me, I had to tell myself, if all this stuff is going on, I must be capable of it. But then also, the enemy does not attack anybody who's not a threat. And somebody told me this, and it was like, AJ, I hope you're not naive enough to think that the enemy is just going to let you train and educate ministries all over the world to empower them to reach more people, and he's just going to sit back and let that happen. So I had to sit back and think about that, and think about that in Job as well, too. It says that Satan was going back and forth, and he said, God, have you considered, it was offered, have you considered my servant Job? Meaning that God was bragging on Job. So he said that God allowed Satan to mess with him, but he wouldn't let him take his life. So that's what I had to remind myself, that it was so much stuff that when I went through, and I could say it now because officially I'm officially divorced of March of this year, and I went through a lot of stuff for the last 4 years, and it was really tough. But I realized that a lot of stuff was meant to try and break me, and it was not that God was trying to break me. It was the fact that I know what's in your character and your heart, AJ. So I'm allowing this stuff to happen because I know you're capable of overcoming it. So I had to keep reminding myself of that. And that's what I sit back and think, that this whole purpose was not just for me to line pockets and stuff like that. And I had to tell myself, and I'm getting real transparent with y'all, like, I didn't move into this house because I just wanted to show off. When I was doing the installs and I was living in an apartment, I used to have 2 to 3 Amazon trucks that were solely dedicated to me being delivered to the apartment. I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment with my daughter, and the majority of the space was for storage. And I'm getting $20,000 worth of equipment being delivered. It was a safety hazard for me and my daughter. So I prayed and asked God, I need more space. I'm like, God, I'm doing what you want me to do, but I need more space. That's how this house came up. The stuff, the nonsense that's been going up here is tried to put me in my mind of like, oh, God ain't with you. You just got out there and willy-nilly got this place that you wanted. And I had to fight that constantly. Dealing with churches that honestly, I felt like I've been abused. They don't want to pay on time. They did this. They backed out of contracts. Yeah, that hurt. And it kind of put me in a compromising position, but I had to remind myself, I'm like, God, you called me to do this. So what would it look like that I tell everybody I'm doing what you told me to do and you allow me to fail? I had to remind myself and remember the confidence I had in the fact of the path that God's called me to do. So I'm saying that now in a stronger position, but yeah, it was rough. So anyway, went on a very long tangent on that one. But I hope that helps. Because again, I try to be transparent with what I do here, that I don't know everything. I struggle. I get pissed off. I get mad. And I heard somebody say that God does not get offended if you're upset with him. You can go and talk with him if there's an issue, and that's what I've done. Mike, you can use the audio monitor plugin for OBS to redirect the audio to the HDMI source. I love that plugin. Very versatile. Thank you for that, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, we've already come down there, man. You got to show me what's going on down in Alabama. I haven't been there. I've always wanted to go to Huntsville, Alabama, when I wanted to go to space camp when I was younger, but I wasn't allowed to do that when I was younger. But excited about seeing different places, man, and visiting and helping other ministries. I like the fact that what I do, I can actually, and all of y'all, please realize everything that y'all doing on asking these questions, everything, you are actually seeing your actions contribute to the Great Commission. That's what gives me, I'm not just sitting here playing a song. I can actually see, man, the more ministries I help, y'all are sharing the gospel and doing the Great Commission. That's what I'm excited about, what keeps me doing what I'm doing. But back to here, we have some things to clean up and set straight. Consultation call coming in January, hopefully January 3rd. All right, well, let me know. I do have some meetings I have to do, but the 17th, the weekend of the 20th of January, that's what I know. I do have 2 installs that are slated for the second week of January, but yeah, let me know. Dean. Hey, AJ, just joining. Did you see the DaVinci Resolve came out yesterday for the iPad? I'm running it on 12.9 M1, 6K footage raw, no problems testing. Yeah, I saw it. I haven't had a chance to download it. I want to play around with that, but thank you for that. And Dean also gave me a code, and I don't know if y'all remember, he gave me a code for DaVinci Resolve Studio. And no one ever responded. So I still have that code, Dean. If anybody wants it, if you email me something about that, first one sends an email at questions@ajhomes.com. I will give you that code. Make sure that your computer can run it, though. All right. Philip Paul, AJ, does the A10 Mini or the A10 Mini Pro have an app control, something like Touch Portal? No, not directly. They don't have one, but there are other apps that can talk to the API of the A10. And there is, I know Mike has worked on one. There are other ones that can talk to it directly. Let's see. AJ, I have a 2012 HP Pro 3500 desktop laying around in our church. How can I convert it to a streaming system, but have been thinking of upgrading its RAM from 2 to 16 gigs since it's 2-slot space? What is the processor inside of that? It might not be enough, to be quite honest. Need to know the processor first. James Brown Jackson. I have 2 Fumaco PTZ cameras that I'm trying to connect to the LeftTech Joy controller. However, one of the cameras doesn't have an RS-232 input or output. Is there any other way I can connect them? It doesn't have a... What type of... Which one of the Fumacos do you have that doesn't have an input and out? I mean, you may be able to do it over IP, but again, I don't know which one. Let me know the exact model and we can go from there. We see a lot of folks talking to each other, which is good. That's what we do this group for. Justin. Streaming from OBS to YouTube, but my audio is not good coming from my mixer. I have a TRS cable from the board to my computer. Same problem with the wireless mic. Yeah, I think, Justin, but what are you plugged into? Are you plugged into the mic jack or are you plugged into line in? Let me know that one. MA16V3. So the Elgato is going to let you bring in 4K 60, but only one source. The ATEM switchers can do 4 1080p 60 sources, so different use case. Yeah, that's all dependent. But again, I would hope you're not streaming at 4K. I'm streaming at 4K because I know I have the upload to handle it and the equipment to handle it. I don't think everybody needs to be 4K, but again, that's your call. I personally, out of all the systems I've been installing, I have not been installing 4K. Now, this is going to be different in one of the churches that's next year. They picked that equipment out to do that. So, yeah, that all depends. Way Truth Life. Can I connect my iPhone camera to OBS? Any best app affordable? Yes, you can. I actually did that. There is iPhone OBS camera. It's an app that you can download to where you can connect it over using the cable. I did a video on that. I use it with my iPad. Works the same way. Or you can send the video over NDI. So there's a couple of options. There's also OBS Ninja that you can use as well too. MA16V3. Also, caution against using multiple capture cards at once. This will soak your USB controller. You may need to get a dedicated USB PCIe cards for good experience. Yeah, so if you're using multiple one, get a capture card like the Decklink Duo that has 4 of them built in itself. Hey, seeing somebody's doing the same thing. Totally agree. Lady Deborah, with God, all things are possible. You will have some setbacks, but that does now mean it's impossible. Remember who got you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, AJ, for being a blessing to us. Hey, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Aaron, I appreciate you and love you, and you're a very wise person. God bless you and your family, and blessings for the kingdom. Hey, thank you so much. Jonathan, stay strong in God, brother. Stay in prayer. Hey, that's what we do. I appreciate y'all. I really, really do. Osama, we bought an A10 Mini Pro to use with one camera in our chapel. I can't use a monitor with HDMI to DVI input for the multi-view. Is that normal, or do I have a defective unit? I can use a TV, thanks. Well, it depends. Now, DVI is a digital video interface. So when the signal that's coming out of the ATEM is a pure digital signal. Now, I've seen that being a problem if the monitor is actually an analog and it's using an analog DVI, because there are 4 different type of DVI connections. So if you're not getting a signal, it's probably because your monitor might not be supporting a digital signal. Try and get a different monitor that make sure it's actually DVI-D, which is a digital. But technically it should work. That would be the only issue, or make sure that the monitor that you're using actually supports 1080p at the resolution that is coming out of the ATEM. Brandon, AJ, what did you study to up your game on IT side of church tech? Any recommendations? Honestly, I didn't read up on anything. I just kept playing around with stuff and breaking stuff over and over again. I was just searching everything, because originally when I was doing this stuff, there wasn't that much out there. I didn't come across a Brady Shear or a Church Front when I was originally looking at this stuff. I was just finding piecemealing different things. And then I spent my own money and bought the stuff to test it out to see if it worked. I already had a background in IT, so I was always figuring out stuff. And I think I told this before. When I came out of school, originally I wanted to be a score writer for movies. But then I'm gonna be a good Christian man by me saying and not saying what I wanted to say. I was deterred by some of the people in music when I was in high school that kind of threw me off. I joined the Marines to be in the president's own band, but when I actually finished my ASVAB, when I came out of boot camp, they're like, "Oh no, you ain't playing trombone for the president's band. We're sending you to the desert to work on satellites and computers." So I say all that to say that I always wanted to do music instead of this, but I always just dabbled, and by doing that, I started playing with music and then started playing with video. And I just started dabbling. I would buy a camcorder, record this, try special effects that look like trash. Just kept playing and playing and playing. And it's practice. It's just playing around. And I would just find little videos to try and sample stuff. And I was just a student of looking at anything. I would look at special effects, everything like that. I would look at church stuff. But again, there wasn't a lot of church people that would want to show their stuff. It was like the little kingdom. Like, I don't want to get this information out for anybody. But that's what I'm doing. So the bridge into that, I'm gonna show y'all this little project that I'm trying to work out. All right. So I have a client that I've worked on before, and tell me if this is familiar. Y'all have a PTZ camera, y'all are mounting it, and it is shaking like crazy because of air conditioning or somebody with a door. So let me show you what I'm getting ready to do. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna test it out because in my mind I think it works. So I'm ordering some shock absorbers that go inside of a washing machine to keep it from shaking. I'm gonna get that, and I have these brackets that I'm either gonna tack weld or screw into a PTZ mount, wall mount, and I'm gonna have this secured to the wall, and then this secured to the top of the mount. So hopefully it'll absorb that. And then also I have these cushions that are gonna sit in between the bottom of the mount and the camera. So this is something that I've been trying to figure out how to stop the vibration, because one church I'm working with, they 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 had an issue and they replaced the air conditioning unit, which is actually behind the wall in the ceiling where the camera is, and anytime it turns on, it just shakes the daylights out of the camera. That's my mindset. This is my first attempt to try and do something. So I will definitely take y'all along to see how this works. But that's, if anybody has came up with anything else, please let me know, because I'm trying to Jimmy rig something to see if it works and just test it out. um, So back to Justin, he was saying he's plugged into the line in. Justin, please send me an email with a link to one of your streams at questions@ajhomes.com so I can take a listen to that, so I can get an idea of that, please. And we'll see what we can do to help it out. Brent, thanks for sharing your expertise with us. Dealing with business problems daily can bring you down. Found that people that don't pay for your services will have trouble finding help in the future. You got that right. One of my friends told me, one of my first clients, he said, AJ, tip for you is your business. You don't need everybody's money. So that's what I use. Back to James Brown Jackson. I have the Fumaco 20X optical zoom and a 12X optical zoom cameras. So if you're having the one that doesn't have that out, does it only have a RS-232 in or none at all? Let me know, because if it only has an in, I would let that be the last part of the daisy chain, and then that should work. All right, so I responded to that. Gotcha. D was saying, hopefully the shocks are not stiff to absorb the vibrations. Maybe need soft shocks. Yeah, I have a mixture of two of them that will kind of absorb that, and I have other ones. I was looking at some oil filled ones, some pressure ones. So I mean, again, I'm just ordering something because honestly, those shocks were only like $18. So if they're not right, I wanted to go through and alternate a couple of them. Back to Brent. We've been using ProPresenter for several years, but they're wanting 100. Man, they've moved it up again. It used to be 60. Wow. $175 a year for updates. Tried Presenter with the planner and music stand, 255. Which would you use, or your options? ProPresenter is still good if you have multiple uses. So at my church, because of the multiple screens, it would be more expensive to use Presenter. Media Shout, Proclaim, all those other ones don't offer everything that I would need. But for Presenter, if you're just using just the output for a stage display, lower thirds, and a main out, Presenter would be fine. But honestly, if you're doing that from a monthly fee, sooner or later, it's going to catch up in price. But everybody moving to a SaaS model, software as a service, they're going to start getting to that. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't like it, but hey, that's what it is. So again, for everybody who's saying there's the audio stuff, please email me samples of that, and I want to use that as a case study to try and walk through that stuff. So if you do have an issue with your audio and stuff, let me know. I will revisit that and try and make something to hopefully help. Darius, you are reading my mind with the shock mount. Excited to see what you come up with. The other culprit is excessive bass. Yeah, so I'm sitting back thinking about doing a shock on both sides to isolate it, just like the spinning inside of a dryer. So it has shocks inside of it that's holding it stabilized, and I have a cushion that's going to absorb it. So what I'm thinking is putting a mount on top, one on the bottom, which is going to be kind of problematic because of how the camera is that mounts that way. But I want to have it that way, and then the cushion would compensate, and hopefully I want to see how that would work. Because again, both of those things combined were nothing but around like $40. So I want to see how that would work. Back to James Brown Jackson. It only has the RS232N. All right, so what I would do in that setup, let's cut over here, and I'm glad I had Draw IO so we can go through that. And I actually had to do that with one ministry. So you have your camera that has, one has RS232N, the other one doesn't. Just realize it doesn't matter the order of the placement in the daisy chain is as long as they are unique. All right, so this could be camera ID 2. This could be camera ID 1. It does not matter which one you have. So I'll just do this as well too. And then this would be camera ID 3. So when you're daisy chaining, it doesn't matter. So this one, say camera 1 is the only one that has an N. So what we want to do is make sure we route this one here. Go to the side. Go here. Then we daisy chain. This is the out. I should label this. So this is RS232N to this camera. Then this is RS232 out from this camera into the N. And then this is another out that just goes into the N. It doesn't matter. As long as they're daisy chain like this and each one of them has a unique ID, this will work. Let this one be the last one. And honestly, let that stay ID number 1. Change all the rest of these to different IDs to make it easier. See if that works for you. That has always worked for me, but let me know. Dean. AJ, what about the SX MOV aluminum alloy shock absorber for a car suction cup mount for the Ronin S gimbal? I haven't thought about that. Yeah, because like I said, when like Brandon was saying, how do I figure this stuff out? Man, I just grab some dirt and throw it against the wall to see if it sticks, to be quite honest. Let me see. Now, I'll be honest with you. I get this thing working. I will try and make multiple ones. So hopefully it will help y'all if y'all have any type of issues with that. Alloy shock absorber. Trying to find that. Okay, so Dean, let me know, is this the ones that you're talking about? I mean, I like these. But some of these I want to see. And these are kind of like for man, what? For like RC cars. Like that's why I was sitting back thinking as well too. Maybe a couple of these. I might try some of these as well too. They're oil filled. I might try some of these, to be quite honest. Because I need something that's going to be soft and it's going to be flexible. So, you know, we're going to play around with these. So thank you for that. And yeah, these are for RC cars, but I think that might be good. And then non-adjustable hydraulic piston absorber. I think that might be too stiff. But yeah, again, these are little projects that, I mean, there's a need. And obviously it's going to be, yeah. Gordon also has some follow-up. Maybe consider suspending the camera from the ceiling. Uniquely, I can't do this in this church. The ceiling is about like 40 feet high, and there's too long. That's too much of a distance to do that. But if I have to, we will. I'd rather not, because I would have to get a lift to get that high in there. Ralph, I have a ground loop hum sometime in my stream with power conditioning work for me. You can use that or add one of these hum eliminators. They're like $20 and put it in between. That can help as well too. I will put a link to that as well. Eliminator. And again, I've used this one multiple times. I actually have one of these at my church because some issues. Eliminator. Put the wrong key in here. I feel like I gotta sneeze again. Covenant healing. The principle in theory should work. Some of what you are using works in keeping air conditioning units from shaking. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Because again, it's only when it turns on. So it's that initial shake that I want to keep in place. But we'll see. And I think this is going to be something I have to do iterations of just to get it straight. Because I haven't seen anybody do something. So there's inspiration. So we're going to find something. Kevin, I'm using ProPresenter and I have it connected to my ATEM television studio switcher via HDMI. When I bring in something, a graphic via the downstream key, blacks don't show up. Any ideas why? That's how the downstream key works. Is initially it's getting rid of black in general. So like for example, if let me open up my ProPresenter. See, that's the other thing, talking back to other stuff, man, I bought so much stuff that like who sits here like, oh man, I'm going to buy myself my own personal license of ProPresenter for home. Like everything I buy is actually for helping out here. All the stuff you see here is not like every time I would bring people over here, they're like, good Lord, why do you have so much stuff here? I was like, hey, it's for my ministry. So like right here, if I use this and let's crank this up here so y'all can see it. So I'm using this. So let's play around with this and let me show you. I'm gonna come in here and let's make a background. And this is just by default. This is how the ATEM works. So we're gonna set this. Right now it's nothing, it's transparent. That's why you can see this checkerboard right here. But I'm gonna set the background to actual black. And I'm gonna just make a shape to take up this entire background. And yeah, I could have right clicked and did it, but I just wanna do this differently. So I'm gonna do this here and let's send it to the back. All right, so that's what it is. Now, if I show you what's on the screen right now, that's what this is. As you can see, it's black. Now, if I open up the ATEM, that is my right monitor. If I go to downstream key, and it's set to the right monitor right now. So if I go back to this, and again, we have a solid background. If I turn on the DSK, it's right here. Now, again, I had a black background. That was on purpose. That's how that works. So if you're using the DSK, you want to avoid using black in any of your stuff if you're using lower thirds, because that's how the DSK defaultly is going to do. So like, for example, if I turn this off, let's go back over here. And now let's change that background to, I don't know, like this gray. All right. Now let's switch it back and let's turn the DSK on again. And I must have had mine tweaked. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't update it. My bad. Hold on. See, now you're going to get this because that's the gray background. So you can see that's what's going on. Let me go in here, edit it one more time, and let's change this background to black. And now let's pick it again and see it's getting rid of the black. That's just the nature of it. So like right now, if I pick this background right now as my, oh, that's using the ATEM, so you're not going to see it because I have this overlay like this. So let's change my look. No, that should be. Having a snafu here. Okay, so there you go. So see, you're seeing the lines, but it's getting rid of the black. You just need to, if you're using the DSK, do not have black in any way, shape, or form inside of whatever you're using, because naturally it is going to do that. Now, if you want to avoid that, you're going to need to use like a chroma key, and I need to turn this off because it's crazy. You need to use like a chroma key where you're having a green background or something like that, and that would be an upstream key. Or you can use a Luma key, whatever. If you want to use black, you're going to have to use something different than the DSK, because the DSK naturally is going to erase the black in your stuff. So hopefully that answers your question. Alrighty, hopefully that helps you. Let's see. Back to the computer specs. This is what I saw. This is a i5 2300 with Intel high definition HD graphics 2000, 4 threads up to 3.5. You can try it. It's going to be pushing it. Now, what are you streaming at? If I don't think that's going to be able to handle 1080p at 60 frames a second, but let me know, and it may be able to work. Brent, we found that sending the audio from our mixer to the live stream computer works better with a separate small mixer than a USB preamp. We have a digital mixer that we can do the live stream mix on. Okay, that can work as well too. If you want to have an adjustment. I used to do that originally, and I'm kind of like that's what I'm doing right now with this Rodecaster, but that was for me to have extra mics. Ultimately, I had the X32 so that I'm actually mimicking the exact same thing, but I just didn't have the patience to configure the X32 to use with these pod mics, and the Rodecaster, since they make this, they already had it tweaked. So I guess I need to work on that as well too. Rhonda, our church's ISP installed the Calyx GigaSpire writer. You can set up guest Wi-Fi, not separate network, through a limit bandwidth. How can I set up bandwidth limits? Well, I'm gonna have to look at that router. Now, I mean, I'm gonna have to come back to that one. You could add something in between that, like any of the unified ones. You could add it in between, because like the way I have my stuff here with Fios, the UDM Pro acts like a modem, so I don't need a modem. I have my own equipment. But if this was different, normally your ISP would provide a router modem, and then you can put your own stuff in between it. That's what I used to do, and you could do the same thing. And that you get one of those unified ones, then you can do that exact same thing. I don't know specifically how to do that with that router though. All right, I'm not so sure that's what's on the desktop. Probably I can check and send you an email if that would be fine. Yeah, just email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Please know I most likely won't probably be responding to y'all till next week though. But just let you know. Dean was saying it also has a quarter 20 mount. Okay, cool. I will look into that. Okay, your message was retracted. All right, I got you. J.A. Stevens wants to know, can one PTZ work for a church in 2022 and it still be a good live stream? Yeah, of course it can. It doesn't, it's not necessarily, it's just like Iron Man said to Spider-Man. He was like, Spider-Man said, I'm nothing without the suit. If you need the suit, then you're not worthy of it. It's the person. So it doesn't, just because y'all got a whole bunch of equipment does not make your live stream great. I've seen churches that are in Malaysia that are still streaming with one phone, just a cell phone, and it's ministering to 15,000 people a Sunday. But then there are churches that got 8K cameras and it's trash. It's not about the equipment. It's how skillful are you with what you got. So, starting with one camera, it's about you perfecting your craft with what you got. When I first started my YouTube stuff, I had a webcam. That was it. Then I moved to this Sony camera. I moved to this. Then now you see all the stuff that I got. The number one video that I had was done off of a webcam. It's not about that. It's how you actually perfect your craft with it. So just throwing hardware and equipment isn't going to make it better. So can you do a great live stream with your ministry and minister to other people with one camera? Yes, you can. Thank you. It did. It's been driving me crazy. Yeah, I understand. Clint Parker. This is the one that's in Savannah. I'm going to try and catch up with you. Hi, this is the guy from Savannah. And for our new system, I'm hearing the X32 has a steep learning curve and that the ProSonus system may be a better pass to my young media team. I mean, I think that's subjective. I think it was a steep learning curve for me originally because there wasn't that much out there. Now, at least for me, and I found some other people that have made it simpler. It's how you're trying to approach it. A lot of times when I first started seeing the X32, I was seeing people using it its max capacity in every bell and whistle that it can use. And yes, it felt overwhelming because these are people who've been using it for years. I'm coming in from day one. I'll be honest, when I first got the X32 and I was getting ready to install it for Fifth Street, I got that thing a month in advance and I was just struggling to get sound coming out of it, not realizing when you turn it on, the mains go all the way down to zero and the gain was set at zero. I mean, at negative infinity and all sort of stuff. It's a steep learning curve because most of the time people forget that they're talking to the brand new person and they're talking at a level that you need to at least be here. I think all sound systems are beginner friendly if you approach them in the right way. So hopefully the stuff I go through my X32 it's actually made it a lot easier. There's so much more that I need to learn with it, but hopefully I like them. And I've used other ones as well too, but it just seems like before I started doing this, a lot of the ministries I used were X32. That's why I leaned towards them. And all these other boards, I didn't have something small enough to fit in my apartment or my house. That's why I stuck with that. Brian here. AJ, regarding your video on the A video1 PTZ from yesterday, getting it to work with the PTZ optics software, did you try the drop down list of cameras in your video camera to select the NDI camera selected? No, I did not. But hey, we can try it right now because I have that camera up. That is this camera right here. So let me take this down. Let's go back to my desktop. Let's go to the PTZ optics app. Now, advanced. Let's turn this on. Let's go to settings, multiple camera. Well, see, this is the drop down one, so it's not necessarily this. This is if I was using the USB one here, but I still have this set here. And I want to see. Still not. Yeah, still not giving me a refused connection. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, but that drop down that you're mentioning, that's, excuse me, that's if I had selected as a USB one. So I don't believe that's it. But thank you for that observation. I'll make sure we test out. And when I figure that out, I will let y'all know if I get that working. All right, so that spec streaming at 720 at 30 frames. That may be able to do it at that bit rate. I would try that. Add six. It's not necessarily the memory, but I mean, if you're running Windows, I don't know which version of Windows, but at least 16 gigs. If y'all are getting any computer, don't get anything with less than 16 gigs nowadays. But that should be able to work. MA16V3. One person once said the best camera for a live stream short film is the camera you have. Yep. Dean, thank you so much. I will check that out. I would love to see a link to the Malaysian church. I need to dig through that. That was on our Facebook group. I'm going to see if I can find it, and I'll tag it in the description if I can. Brent, we use one PTZ and get shots of all kinds. We preset the shots for the pastor, choir, wide shots, etc. Our sanctuary is only 2 sections wide and long. Yeah, just use it to the strengths that you got. Justin, thanks, AJ. This has been awesome learning session. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, and thank you. Dean says, still love the desktop wallpaper. Yep, thank you. It's actually on the website. I didn't make it, so obviously I'm not selling it. But if you are interested in getting this one with a bunch of scriptures, just go to AJaytheCEO.com. Go to digital. And then there's the wallpaper right there. And it's free to get. I don't know why that. Yeah. So, again, free. So, that's where you can get it from there. All right. Jonathan, Do you still have any videos on setting up YouTube channel for your media ministry? Yes, I do. Actually, I made one. I think I made one. I think a couple of months ago. In relations to that, let me see. YouTube. Yep, here it is. It is right here. How to start a church YouTube channel 2022-2023 version. This goes through the latest of what's available here. I will put a link to it in the comments. Church YouTube channel setup. All righty. So we've been going for a while, folks. We're going to start to wind it down here in a little bit. Thanks for making a reference to the issue of gear versus skill. A pastor friend of my dad in the UK called me and said that he wanted to upgrade their Persona Studio Live 32 mixer and got a new one. All righty. Well, folks, I tell you one thing. I will try and have another live stream on the 30th. But you know, I hope, and I feel the love and support. So thank y'all so much. I really hope my mission in what I do is not just to get a whole bunch of cash. Obviously, I gotta have living expenses and stuff like that. I gotta pay for the bills. But my mission has always been to try and empower ministries, to show them that you don't have to have millions to be effective in sharing the message. Whether you want to do with your phone, you're Jimmy rigging a bunch of stuff, DIYing it, or you're buying equipment to give you some insight, to tell you some stuff that most people won't tell you. That has always been the goal of this. I just want to thank you so much for all the growth that we've had over the years, the influence, being able to meet so many of y'all, and being able to be a part of helping your ministry share the message like never before. So thank you so much for your continual dedication through 2022. 2023 is going to be great. Please set the goal. That's what the next video is. We're going to be talking about setting goals for your media ministry so that we're just not, getting in the car, just driving without a destination or a goal of where we're going. I really believe, and I'm going to put it out there, I did a video that I really believe that if you decide, each one of y'all's ministries can have, if you're on YouTube or wherever, have at least 1,000 subscribers so that you're reaching. Because most ministries don't have 1,000 people. When you get to 1,000 subscribers, and everybody knows that you are impacting people beyond your local ministry. And that's what it's all about. It's not my responsibility to reach everyone. It is our responsibility to reach everyone. So I hope that what I'm doing is helping contribute to helping that, educate y'all to make that path a little bit easier. Thank you for all the hard work that y'all are doing, the constant study that you've been doing through the years. I know that sometimes what we do is thankless, and I just want to take this and use this platform to thank y'all, give back as best as I can to help make this journey a lot easier for y'all. So I hope y'all have a great Christmas, wonderful New Year, and everything like that. And I just pray that God opens up doors and pours out a blessing on all of y'all, that he enlarges all of our territory so that we can reach more and removes the pain from it, but that he will have his hands on everything that we do so that we can render it back onto him. Again, I want more so I can give back more. So again, I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever y'all are on the face of this planet. Love y'all, and we'll be seeing y'all on the next video, folks. Later.